Here's actually a fascinating etymology, very similar actually with Baltimore, Annapolis, and Maryland. Just like I was talking about with the city of Judy and the city of Nancy, Elizabethtown, Cynthiana. Annapolis was also named after Anne, but unfortunately they can't tell which of the two Annes. I think there's some confusion that's actually going on here. So Maryland is named after Henrietta Maria, which was the wife of Charles I. Now Anne is also the princess, the daughter of Mary. And that's what it says that Annapolis was named after. Unfortunately, the story I think is actually kind of convoluted. Because you'll have, let's see, here you have, alright, let me just read this. So a settlement in the province of Maryland named Providence was founded on the north shore of the Severn River in 1649 by Puritan exiles from Virginia led by Governor William Stone. The settlers moved to a better protected harbor on the south shore. The settlement on the south shore was initially named Town at Proctor's, then Town at the Severn, and Lady Anne Arundel's Town, after the wife of Lord Baltimore, who died soon afterwards. Okay, so they're here in Anne Arundel's Town, and then afterwards they change it. They renamed the town Annapolis after Princess Anne of Denmark and Norway, soon to be the Queen of Great Britain. And then they said that Annapolis was incorporated as a city in 1708. So 1694, soon after the overthrow of the Catholic government of Thomas Lawrence, Francis Nicholson moved the capital of the royal colony, Maryland, to Anne Arundel's Town, and then renamed the town Annapolis after Princess Anne. So who's it named after? Is it named after this Anne Arundel, who the town was named after, or is it named after the princess, soon to be queen? Or perhaps it was both. Maybe it was just a stone that killed two birds, at the same time. So I think that was an interesting connection, because again, we're naming these cities and towns after the aristocracy that we supposedly fought against. Didn't we fight against the monarchy? Didn't we fight against the idea of one family just always being in charge for the rest of our lives? I mean, isn't that against the tyranny of Great Britain, against the imperialism and their oppression, so we wouldn't be slaves? And yet here we have Annapolis, which is named after the princess, which is Queen Anne. And here's who Queen Anne eventually, she became the Queen of England, Scotland, and Ireland in 1702. I think there's a Queen Anne's War. So actually we fought against the French in Queen Anne's War. There was like 3 or 4 world wars before the American Revolution in, the Americas, in North America. World wars being, all these nations were fighting. But here there was Queen Anne's War, there's King William's War, and I want to say another one. But there were like 3 or 4 French and Indian wars before the main French and Indian War, right before the American Revolution. So Anne, she, under the Acts of Union, 2 of her realms, the kingdoms of England and Scotland, united as a single sovereign state known as Great Britain. She continued to reign as the Queen of Great Britain and Ireland until her death. So she ruled over the United Kingdom, right? She brought Scotland and England together, and Ireland, because she was also the Queen of Ireland. Anne was born in the reign of her uncle Charles II, who had no legitimate children. Her father James was first in line to the throne. His suspected Roman Catholicism was unpopular in England, and on and on. So I don't know. Anne's Dutch Protestant brother-in-law and cousin William II became joint monarch with his wife, Anne's elder sister Mary II. Right? That's William and Mary. I don't know. I don't give a shit. I do not care about these kings and queens and all these royal families and shit. If anything, it gives me a nostalgic feeling for something that we in America don't even have. So the Anne Arundel, she was a person who was someone to be named, to name Annapolis after. She's an English noblewoman. The Anne Arundel Calvert. She was the daughter of Thomas Arundel, the first Baron of Arundel of Wardour, by second wife Anne Phillipson, and wife of Lord Baltimore, who founded the province of Maryland colony. So Lord Baltimore was the one who founded the Maryland colony. So why wouldn't Lord Baltimore not name it after his wife, which is what Maryland was named after, the wife of the king, right, the queen. And Anne Arundel County in Maryland. So there is a county named the Anne Arundel County in Maryland. A third of the state's 23 counties / jurisdictions in the U.S. was named for her. In addition, USS Anne Arundel, AP-76, an American naval transport ship of the Elizabeth Cady Stanton class, was in turn named after the Maryland county. It served in the United States Navy from 1940 to 1970. So, and then she has 10 kids, and 3 of them survived to adulthood. So you got Lord Baltimore, who's married to Anne Calvert, Anne Arundel Calvert, and her name graces the county. And theoretically, supposedly, it's not her name that is Annapolis, even though I think it's both. I think it's hers, and it's the Queen Anne, you know, of the Great Britain variety, Queen Anne's War. All right, we were the ones. This is all English at the time, so we were British at the time. So we being the English, fought in Queen Anne's War when she first became queen. And now you have the second Baron Baltimore. So who is the Lord Baltimore? Cecil Calvert, the second Baron Baltimore, was the first proprietor and proprietary governor of the province of Maryland and 9th proprietary governor of the colony of Newfoundland and the colony of Avalon in the southeast. Avalon, isn't that something to do with King Arthur? His title was Cecil Calvert, second Baron Baltimore, first Lord Proprietary, Earl Palatine of the provinces of Maryland and Avalon in America. Received the proprietorship. So what? He's the Lord Baltimore. Even that. The Lord Baltimore. So we named the whole city after this. I mean, he founded Maryland, so I guess put his name on something. So yeah, there's a little bit about Annapolis and the etymology of Annapolis. It's torn. I'm torn between 2 of them. One's supposed to be the queen, the queen of all that is right, and the Princess Anne of Denmark and Norway, who eventually becomes the Queen of Great Britain. So Princess Anne, Annapolis, I don't know if Annapolis is named after Princess Anne of Denmark and Norway, who eventually became the Queen of Great Britain, or Anne Arundel's town, who was a very accomplished wife of Lord Baltimore. So I think it's in between those 2. So, you know.